Is the student of ICS at Government Graduate College for Women, Warda Town, Lahore. She has got many certificates for her participation in literary activities during her school life, including quizzes, debates, and creative writing challenges. Currently, along with her college degree, she is working on a novel and has written almost 40,000 words. So I welcome Warda Ali. Please come on stage. Warda, I guess what you have with you, you could come to Bridges Beyond Borders. Bridges Beyond Borders. If you see in your text, you could find this Bridging Beyond Borders. And she is a student of intermediate and she's a novelist. And her future, in future, she wishes to pursue computer sciences, but she also wishes to be a writer, and she continues to write. And I was really actually honored to read her work. So, Warda Ali's long novel, Warda Ali, could you just read one or two paragraphs from your novel, from the novel you have shared with us? And then from there on, we can pick up your work.
First of all, I'm really thanked to be here and given an opportunity to represent my work. I will start reading
You like coffee or tea?
No.
Okay.
We were all sitting inside a room at our roof. I came out of the room for a stroll. Birds rested quietly, taking breaks from chirping, seeking shade to avoid the intense heat from the blazing rooftops. Innocent creatures must have been thirsty, I wondered. So I was going back inside. Just then, I felt a sudden change in the weather. Leaves scattered and hairs tousled as the unseen force swept. Dark clouds covered the sky within the blink of an eye, and the sun, that shone so brightly, was nowhere to be seen. There was a moist and sandy smell in the air. I assumed that it was going to rain. With the kind of weather in front of my eyes, it's the first thing that comes to mind, so I'm not the one to blame for not knowing what was about to happen next. I was still standing outside staring at the sky, waiting for the rain to start. But to my sight was a whole new, completely different world starting to appear. I was amazed. It might sound childish, but that's the truth. I perceived a variety of emotions. I wasn't sure of which one was stronger than the other and which one to express. I was at a loss of words. I wanted to move. No, that might not sound right. I wanted to run inside and shout. I wanted to do what mostly people do when they witness a natural disaster. I couldn't explain the view in front of my eyes, and even today, I still can't bring myself to explain it clearly. I stood there and didn't move. Not because I didn't want to. It's because I couldn't. In the meantime, my sister came out. She was holding a piece of paper. She probably wanted to show me her drawing. That is my guess too. She saw me staring at the sky, so she must have followed my gaze to see what I was looking at. The first thing I heard was the sound of the pencil falling, and the second was her shouting. "Mother!" Bonnie shouted with fear. "Come out, hurry, Mother!" she called her parents. On the other hand, I kept on standing like a statue. Realization hit me the very moment I started understanding the reason why all of this was happening. It was totally unexpected, something never seen before, but now that I had understood the reason that led this to happen, it wasn't unexpected for me, not anymore. It was indeed something only I could have expected. I wish it was a dream. Both my parents came out running along with my little sister. My grandparents were still inside. I looked at them. I knew it, their reaction. I had already assumed what their reaction would be. The view at the sky was breathtaking. "It's beautiful." That is what I said. Gladly no one heard me, else they would have probably thought I had gone crazy. It's because what seemed beautiful to me was more terrifying and frightening than any other natural disaster ever known. I'm not sure if it could be called a natural disaster or not, but somewhat likewise. The sky seemed different, a lot different than what it usually looks like. It seemed like ocean waves in the sky. The waves carried electricity, lightning, and sand. The waves were light blue in color, although they were far from the earth's surface, but as if we were beneath the sea and a glass wall between the two. One after another came strong waves of electricity. They resembled ocean containing bioluminescence, commonly known as glowing water. Strange blue and DNA-like structures seemed to be moving on the walls of the houses as if insect crawls. Their motion was synchronized with the waves above. The waves in the sky were followed by waves light brown in color carrying sand. The sandy waves brought along with them strong winds. I kept on going and didn't seem to be affecting the surface, but it was. Just like the lightning that we see. It doesn't affect us, but we don't know whether it fell somewhere on earth, and God knows how much destruction it caused. Just like the lightning that seemed harmless, yet terrifying. Let alone the fear that what if it fell on us? What if we got struck by lightning? The sky carried electrical ocean and sound waves, while only electrical waves were passing through the walls. They seemed beautiful, and I wanted to touch them, but I was caught up in thoughts. A lot of them roamed inside my mind. It's my fault. It was never supposed to happen. It wasn't meant to be seen by anyone, at least not in this century. It must have been due to my carelessness. What should I do? How can this be fixed? Can it even be fixed? How did this happen? What led this to happen? I started questioning myself. In short, two worlds were colliding. I think the oceanic side of the other world was colliding with the land of this world. We came to our senses, we started running, checking and searching for ways to save ourselves. Vanya ran inside and told her grandparents about the situation. They came out too. We went towards the back. We looked at the houses behind our house. Everywhere, I thought that we'll have to jump from roof to roof. We saw two skinny boys in trousers and a vest trying to get out of their house through the balcony. I asked where they were going. Of course, to another city, my father replied. I thought for a second, what if it's the same out there too? No, it must be the same not only in other cities, but all around the world. And not only this, but the one above too. My parents were looking around and thinking of finding a way to protect us and themselves, running around, trying to Google it, searching for news, but there seemed to be no hope. There was no news anywhere. The Wi-Fi had stopped working too. Let's take shelter inside the house. What if the house fell on us? We should stay inside. What if that weird sky falls on us? Should we get rid of the electronics? I could hear my family panicking and trying their best. We were left in a dilemma of what to do and what not to do. I felt like a statue made of hard cement. I couldn't move. My mind had stopped working. I couldn't think of anything. I was spacing out. Spacing out? I came to my senses. At a crucial moment like this, a word. Yes, a word immediately came to my mind when I started thinking of how can I save everyone and what should I do. And I did exactly that. Do you want to know what was that word? It was sleep. The word I thought of. Hilarious, right? But nothing else seemed to be the solution to this unexpected and uninvited problem. Nothing other than sleep. I tried to recall how all of this had started and what led this to happen. Where did I make a mistake this big? Chapter 2.
Thank you. Any questions on this first chapter from the audience to Warda Ali? And please remember, she has come from Lahore to read her work. She has traveled 4 to 5 hours. So any question, please?
I have a question.
Yeah. May I talk to Naima? Yes. Miss Hina, just a minute. Hello, Naima, could you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clear. This is very quiet.
No, could you hear me clearly?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Okay. And Naima, we had a session. I was talking to Warda Ali, who is a novelist. So what we do here is we stop this talk here. And my apologies to Warda. And Warda, after Ms. Naima has spoken from Western Michigan University about creative writing, then we will resume our session right from this point. Okay? So, yes. So, Naima, I will give you. So, Warda.
Allow Warda to complete the session. I'm here with you now because now the Zoom is right, but I cannot take take Warda's place. We can continue with Warda. I'm here, and after Warda has completed her talk, then I'm gonna talk.
And what about what about the tornado and what about the Wi-Fi connection? Is it working now?
Because if I have been connected now, then I think that we are not going to discontinue now.
Let's
Because
hope.
I've been trying for about more than an hour because now the signals have come, and if the signals have come now, I hope they won't go now.
Okay. Let's hope. Okay. So we get along with Warda Ali. Yes. Ms. Hina was asking a question to Warda Ali. Yes.
Yes, Warda, it's a beautiful piece of writing. I just want to ask, do you read modern writers or novelists? And who is your the most favorite? And is it rational enough that we can say that we want to follow his or her pattern and structure of novel for your novel? Two questions. Do you read modern writers a lot? And secondly, who can be your favorite and inspirational enough that you would like to take his or her structure to build your novel upon that structure? Thank you.
Good question.
First of all, I like J.K. Rowling for the theme she has written on Harry Potter. It's my favorite. But according to the structure that I want to follow, it would be Khalid Hosseini, an Afghan writer. I like the way he represents his country's culture along with the story. So that would be the structure I would like to follow. And for the second thing, I read novels, but only during my holidays. I can read during the educational time.
Yes, because it is believed that writings are basically based on readings. Writings are basically based on readings. So it is also important for our young writers to continue reading young other writers. That's why I asked you. Thank you. And by the way, it's a good answer.
Any other question? I think Hafsa had a question. And please keep your phones on airplane mode if possible because it is creating problem in the sound. The signals create problem in the sound. If it is on airplane mode, that would be very helpful to us. Yes, Hafsa, please.
Yes, Warda, first of all, I was quite marveled to read your work, and I honestly feel so blessed that I am one of those who have heard you.
Thank you.
And my question is that, what was the first time the words whispered to you? And I really specifically want to have the true image of the time when the words whispered to you. Was it night? Was it day, morning? Which holidays? Like what time actually? Like I'm very much interested in this. The very first time.
After I had cleared my matriculation, during those holidays, I think nearly about 2 to 3 days after I took my last exam, the morning I woke up after taking my breakfast, I was strolling, and at that time I was looking at the sky, and this very moment the scene that I have discussed in the first chapter, the natural disaster, that is what came to my mind, and I immediately began writing. Afterwards I liked it and I thought I should build a story about it. Especially thanks to my parents who liked my idea and encouraged me to further complete it into a novel.
That's great, and that's quite amazing. My another question is that because now you're writing,
Yes.
and when we start writing, we become like a vessel, like a container which is sometimes empty and sometimes too filled.
Yes.
So, in the times when you're too filled, do you feel like you're out of words and voices?
Sometimes, but mostly I feel very blessed when I feel overfilled with words, and I immediately take my pen and start writing it down because I don't want to miss the best parts. The first thought that comes in mind is the best thought, I believe.
Okay, that's great. And another thing, this is the last question. that who was the first writer you read?
J.K. Rowling.
Harry Potter.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
This one.
Any other questions? Yes, there's Salma has a question.
You just share your amazing piece of art. I want to ask a very simple question, like as you are doing writing novels and something like that, and you're pursuing computer science.
Yes.
So there's a very myth like that that literature is restricted to person from the literature side, like the people and the students here are doing the PS English or something like that. So they most of my friends assume that it is restricted to that person. So what you would like to say to them that is literature is open for everyone?
Yes, of course it is. It varies from person to person about the abilities and the creative writing skills. So we cannot restrict the literature part to only the literature students. It should be open to all who have the ability to write and express their emotions.
So don't you think that if you pursue English in like your career, so you would be able to support your writing, like a piece of your writing as well?
I don't think so. I think my background in English literature is almost quite good enough, and I'm fine with that. Furthermore, I have more interest in computer science, which is a great. It is. I really like it. I can speak that.
Please. Any other question from Warda Ali? Yes, there.
First of all, I'm very moved that you write so well. But I want to ask you that the first time you wrote, was it because you experienced something or was it just you got inspired from another writer, J.K. Rowling?
At first, I didn't start writing because I was inspired by J.K. Rowling. I started writing because ever since as a writer, I had always liked creative writing, and creative and new invented ideas kept on appearing in my mind. I always wondered what if we could travel between two worlds, and I had always fantastical imaginations which I wanted to write down and further elaborate them, which is the basic reason why I started writing.
Oh. I also write fiction writing a lot, so you wrote like fiction a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, and Warda, I want you to say a bit about the overall novel because we have just read the first chapter. What you are trying to say in this novel. Could you just please elaborate on that?
The main theme of my novel is the idea of choice and difficulties. I want to convey the message that life is about making difficult decisions and that we have to choose the best. One must learn what to prioritize and what matters most in their life. And the other thing is that no one is perfect. Everyone has flaws in them, but one should not discourage himself or stop themselves from pursuing their dreams just because other people don't like them. It's just that you're not looking or you're not expressing your talent at the right place. So one must learn to love themselves.
You know, Warda, in your first section, there is an apocalyptic image, I feel. Why do you choose to begin your work with some apocalyptic image?
It's because I like this part, and I think it's a catchy part, and this is what would engage the readers to further explore more what had happened and why did you sleep in such a difficult situation. So that's why I choose this as the first one.
And by the way, it begins with an image of apocalypse.
Yes.
Would it also end with an image of apocalypse?
Yes, it will, but a little before the ending.
Sorry, little bit?
A little bit before the ending or the last one.
So you will bring this image again before
Yes,
finishing
before.
the novel again?
Yes.
Before the final resolution?
Yes.
Okay, I think it was really inspirational for all of us, to Warda Ali, who has traveled from Lahore to present her work, and I have best wishes for you. And I imagine you as a writer, and it is not compulsory that you have to study English literature to become a writer. Most of the people who study English literature, they don't become writers. I'm sorry to say this, students of English would be hurt when I'm saying this. Most of the people who do PhD in English, who do MPhil in English, they become critics, they don't become writers. Most of the people, for example, Chekhov, the great Russian playwright, he was a doctor by profession. And then he became actually a playwright. So if you look at the writers, most of them, look at Edward Bond, whom we just mourned and who died. And Bond even says universities and colleges are often useless places for writers. Bond never attended even school also. He's a self-taught man. So most of the great writers, they taught themselves, and same is the case with Ted Hughes also. Ted Hughes says, I was fortunate not to pursue my academic degree of English at Cambridge. He was doing a degree in English at Cambridge. And one day he had a dream that a fox with man's face and with man's hands, yes, and it entered his room. He says he was actually stuck. He wanted to write an essay, but he couldn't write that essay. He would write 1 or 2 lines, he would push around, and then he would stop. So after 4 days, he had this dream. And in this dream, this man-fox, half fox, half man, it entered his room, and this fox was completely burned, 3-degree burned. And it puts its hand on the table of Ted Hughes, on the page, and the fox said in the dream, "You've got to stop this. You are destroying us. You've got to stop this." It means stop your academic degree. You're destroying us. You have to give life to us. You have to recreate us. So after that night, Ted Hughes said farewell to Cambridge. And he says it was a very wise decision. So whether you are students of biology, H&D, you belong to any field and you can become a writer. It is not compulsory to study English and to become a writer. Yes? So, yeah. So, thank you so much, Warda. Thank you so much. Please give a huge round.